Hey folks, Matthew with Tactical Comms here. I want to talk to you today about finding alternative sources of information, particularly when bad things happen. Now, a lot of folks that do videos and training like I do, we kind of get lumped into this end of the world scenario. And unfortunately, or fortunately, however you choose to look at it, there are many things that can cause us problems in our life and in our community. Now, unless you've lived under a rock for the last couple of weeks, you no doubt have read or watched videos or heard about the wildfires that occurred in Maui. And early information suggests that traditional communications networks such as cell phones and internets were taken offline by the fire or by wind. We don't know which one it is, but in either case, it appears that a lot of those networks were inoperable at a time when folks needed them most. So traditional sources of information such as social media, official websites, phone calls, things like that were not available. So what happens when those events come knocking at your door? What happens when it's a tornado warning? What happens when it's an ice storm? What happens when it's a flood? How do you get more sources of information? So let's go look and let's find some sources of information. How can you be better prepared and have more situational awareness? One of the cheapest investments you can make is an all hazards weather radio. Now, these radios are receivers only, but they receive National Weather Service broadcasts. So you can set it to be flood warnings, tornado warnings. You can set it to be geographical across multiple counties or only your county. There's a ton of different options you can have. But anytime there's severe weather or an IPAWS alert or things like that that come to your area, it will alert your radio. And that will kind of give you an indication that something's up. It's an early warning system, but it's cheap. Another thing that you can do is you can purchase an AM/FM radio. Now, most of you know how I feel about Bofang radios, but if you buy a UV5R, you've got several different uses there because it also includes an FM radio receiver. You can listen to your local FM radio stations, and you can a lot of times get real-time information there. You can also listen to VHF and UHF ham radio bands, as well as if your public safety agencies are on VHF and UHF analog, you can hear those as well. There are tons of websites that are available that you can have information on. For public safety communications, I recommend radioreference.com. This is a wealth of information, and these guys do a great job with geographical locations. For amateur radio, look at repeaterbook.com. That's another good resource for you. Find out what local ham radio repeaters are in your area. A lot of times these folks will be running what we call Skywarn nets or emergency nets, and you can get boots on the ground information in a lot of cases. We had some floods in my area in 2020, and the first indications that we were having flooded roads came from ham radio. So just keep that in the back of your mind. So how can we make us a communications plan to help stay informed? So the first thing I want you to do, I want you to go out and sit in your car. If it's hot, turn the air conditioning on, roll the windows down, whatever, and scroll through the FM dial on your FM stereo. That's the easiest thing to do. It doesn't cost you anything to do this unless you're running it, and gas is stupid expensive right now. So go scroll through. Find you at least 3 FM broadcast stations that come in loud and clear where you currently are. Write those frequencies down. In my area, I know what those frequencies are. And I don't care what music they listen to, but I want 3 local broadcast FM stations. All right. The next thing I want you to do is flip it over to the AM module. Unless you've got a brand new car that doesn't come with AM radio, I want you to listen to find you 3 local AM radio stations. Write that one down. Okay. This is important. Next, I want you to look at your local public safety. Go to radioreference.com and look for your local law enforcement, your local fire department, your local EMS, and if they have a channel listed, your local emergency management. And then I want you to write those frequencies down. You're only interested in the receive frequencies. You don't need the input as it's listed. But I want you to find those. If you live in a municipality or near a municipality, I want you to find those frequencies for the municipal fire, law enforcement, and if necessary, EMS. If you live in an area that has National Forest Service lands or U.S. Forest Service lands, I want you to find those frequencies as well, because they will give you a ton of information. Now, start listening to those frequencies and listen to what sounds normal. If you live in an area that runs a digital trunk system and you don't have a digital scanner, it's okay. There's other sources of information out there. But start with radio reference. There's forums for every state has a forum where you can start looking and finding answers. There's plenty of people who are willing to help. Last but not least, I want you to think about building your resources, building you relationships from around your area to help communicate with and help disseminate and share information. I'm going to give you some great resources. I'll put links to each of them down below. Southern Prepper One published a great book on building groups, building trustworthy groups. It talks about step-by-step how to do that. You've got the Guerrilla's Guide to the Bofang Radio by Brushbeater. It's on his website, brushbeater.store. I can't remember. I'll look at the link and put it below. And of course, my book, Frozen Signals. Also, go look at Skinny Medic's website, his YouTube channel. One thing that Skinny talks a lot about is you never know when you might be the first responder. So you've built your resilience, you built your 72-hour go bag, you've got your communications plan, you've made friends. You want to make sure that you're medically prepared to render aid to yourself first and then next others in most cases. But you've got to be safe and you've got to have a way to get out first. The last thing I'll leave you with is my heart goes out to the folks of Maui, folks who have lost loved ones, family members and friends, folks who have lost their homes. As a career firefighter, that really hits home to me anytime there's fire loss, fire damage, or fire fatalities. So thoughts and prayers with all of you. I really want to encourage you folks that are watching to build and refine and continue to train with your emergency preparedness. Remember, it's not always the zombies, it's not always the EMPs, it's not always a Tetawaki or whatever. It could be just a thunderstorm that knocks out your local 911 center that causes problems. And for those of you who know me, that one will resonate. But have a great day and stay prepared, folks.